Welcome to our Eastern Washington University women's basketball preview for the 2019-2020 season. I'm Larry Weir here with Wendy Schuler and Leah DePriest, the lone senior on the Eagle women's basketball team. So, Coach Schuler, only one senior, only two juniors on this team. Is this maybe the youngest team, or at least one of the youngest teams you've had in your Eastern tenure?
It is. It doesn't feel that way, though, because even though we've got a plethora of sophomores, it feels like we have a lot of experience within that group, and so we don't feel quite as young as we actually are.
You played a lot of freshmen, three of them specifically, toward the end of the regular season. You have three starters back, but those three freshmen plus Brittany Clayman give you a lot of experience, and Leah herself giving you a lot of experience coming into this season.
Exactly. So that's, just 10 practices in, it's felt like we're able to move along pretty fast just because of the number of kids that we have back this season.
When I looked first at the schedule and I saw four road games, Stanford, Utah, and Gonzaga in November, I thought maybe you'd have to have a stern word with your schedule maker maybe. But the more I look at this, the more I like it, because you've got time between these games for practice and for coaching off this competition you're going to have early on, and then you've got a bunch of home games in December.
We do, November won't be an easy month. Imagine the gray hairs will be popping out a lot more this month, but it'll definitely be an opportunity for us to grow. And you hit the nail on the head that it's not like all the games are stacked on top of each other. They're spread out accordingly, and I think it'll give us a good chance to see what we have and who we are and how we can get better.
Is that what you strive for when you're making a schedule, is to try to get some balance there in between practice time and travel and giving kids still the time to get into the classroom and do their studies?
We do, it's been a little bit difficult the last couple of years because we've played 20 conference games and we've played them all after Christmas. So you got 9 games, and they've moved up the start date. So you're starting at the beginning of November and you play 9 games in essentially, like 7 weeks. And so you're almost at a game a week. And then you jump into Big Sky play and you play 20 games, and you're just cramming those games into 8 or 9 weeks. So it's going to get better a year from now, but it has presented some challenges, and there is a little bit more time in between some games than I would like. But you kind of do what you can do with what you have.
Leah, what's it like being the lone senior on this team? Do you get any privileges that seniors go first and you're the only one there in the line?
It's fun to have a whole bunch of young girls and a lot of youthful to the team, but I mean, it's kind of sad being the only one. I'm gonna be the one walking across senior day, but we do miss all the girls that left. But I think it's good that we have a whole bunch of girls that are younger and have a lot of experience playing and stuff, so they do help a lot with keeping the team in check. So
a lot of size on this team, and so you've got some good depth at your position inside. Talk about what you're expecting, not only for yourself but for the team this year.
I think we have a lot of upside potential. I think that we can run the ball, we can shoot, we can do all those things, and I think that through practices, and because we were only 10 in, but I think that as we keep going, we will get a whole bunch better. I can already see things connecting way faster than years previous, and I just see a lot of growth potential happening. I'm really excited about this year. I think it's going to be really fun.
Is there a trip you're looking forward to, a game that you're looking forward to, especially in the non-conference season, a place that maybe you haven't played that that you're looking forward to?
I'm really excited to play Stanford. It's going to be so fun, playing Franny the girl who can dunk. I'm kind of excited to see what that's like, and probably Stanford's the most exciting one to play just because they're top 5 in the nation right now, so I think it'll be really good.
What have you seen from your team in practice so far through the first couple of weeks?
I think that we've seen a lot of competition. We all work really hard. We dive for loose balls. We fight for all those rebounds and stuff. So I think that that's really exciting to see. I've seen a lot from the younger girls. There's a lot of freshmen that have stood out and hitting big shots and in different drills. And I've seen a lot from Bella. She's super athletic, super great around, and her leadership has come up, and it's been really great. And Jess too, our McDowell White, she's been doing really, really well. So I just think that the younger girls coming up and being leaders is really great.
as the only senior and one of only 3 players that aren't freshmen or sophomores,
Yeah.
is leadership falling more heavily on your shoulders this year?
I think so, yeah, but I think at the same time, like I said, we do have a lot of girls that know how to take care of themselves and know how to do things themselves. I do feel a little bit more pressure just like for myself, just to, especially the freshmen, just like leading them along, because it is hard to keep all 4 of them, just if you need help, you know, but I do think I have a lot of help from Brittany and all those other girls, so I think it's...
All right, Coach, what do you look for from this team this year? What's going to be the strength of this team?
Balance. I think balance and depth is going to be the strength of this team. You know, we've got, I think, great point guard play. I think we've got great perimeter play. I love our inside game. I think that we're going to get better and better defensively as the year goes on. You know, but I think that our balance is going to be pretty special.
Talk about your returning players coming back. We kind of touched on them a little bit, but you've got some really good returners coming back that were freshmen and sophomores for you last year.
Yep, we do. You know, the young lady sitting next to me, you know, last year, she was fighting through some injury stuff and new system and all of those things, and has made great strides in the off season and is doing a tremendous job for us. She's being a little bit humble in terms of leadership and how the players look up to her. And I think she's got great support in that leadership from even some of our sophomores. You know, you start with Bella, who I think is going to make a big jump for us this year. I don't know if the rest of the league knows how good she is. I think they saw glimpses, but we see it every day in practice that Bella is going to be a really special player for us inside. And then, you know, Jess McDowell-White, I think, got the world's attention at the conference tournament, doing some things, and she has just picked up where she left off, and is again just a little bit more comfortable because she's a sophomore and she knows now what's expected, and is doing a fabulous job at the point. You know, Brittany is swinging a lot more at the 2 guard, at the combo guard, and I think she's really comfortable there. She gives us great size and athleticism. She's really improved her perimeter shooting, and look for her to have a tremendous year. You know, Grace, I think, will pick up right where she left off last year, which was she had a tremendous season and gives us a great perimeter scoring threat. So, you know, those guys are all going to do really great things for us, I think.
Give us a couple of newcomers that you're expecting big things out of. You've got some redshirt freshmen, also some true freshmen coming in.
We do. You know, Millie has really stood out for us. She redshirted last year because of a foot injury, and gives us just a nice energy and presence in the paint. She can do a little bit of everything and plays her tail off. So she's been great, and it helps that she doesn't feel like a freshman because she's been here for a year and in our system. And then our freshman class, it's a special group. It's a really special group. They're great athletes. They bring a lot to the table. You know, Gabby is a super athlete. You know, was a great track athlete as well as a great basketball player coming out of the state of North Dakota, and has been tremendous. Jenna has done a lot of great things for us. She's a combo guard, shoots the 3 well. Makes things happen, great basketball IQ. Alexis great, gives us just nice athleticism, and I think her upside is unbelievable, and she plays really, really hard. And then Kennedy Dickey, I think that's a name that Eagle fans are going to want to remember, because she's reminiscent. The last kid I remember being kind of like Kennedy is Delaney Hodgins. That's who she brings to my mind, and I think she could be a very, very special player in our future.
Well, we're looking forward to it. 2019-2020 season begins November 5th at Stanford. December 1st is the home opener for the Eagles. Conference play begins at home in late December. That's Coach Schuler. That's Leah DePriest. Thanks for watching this Eagle women's basketball preview. Welcome now to our preview on Eastern Washington University men's basketball for the 2019-2020 season. This is head coach Shantae Leggins, forward Mason Peatling, a senior on this year's Eagle team. Let's start with you, Coach Leggins. What have you seen from practice so far in your team here in this season?
been healthy. We've been healthy. The team's competing. Just getting out there, getting after each other. We're looking forward to trying to scrimmage against some other teams coming up. But just they've been going after us since pretty much our last game, the Big Sky tournament last year. They've been in the gym more than I've ever seen. Mason's changed the culture. Some of the other guys have changed cultures of making sure the younger guys are getting in the gym, getting better, and they're doing a lot on their own. And so that's really, I think, making this team progress a lot faster than teams in the past.
You talk about health. Is health the big key for this team this season?
Yeah, for the last 2 years, we've been banged up as soon as we hit the Big Sky tournament. So we're trying to make sure we're healthy when it counts. Mason, this is Mason's first spring and summer. He's been able to actually work out and get better, and you'll see the improvements in his game when he steps on the court. Same with Jacob. He's been able to be healthy throughout the spring and summer, and a lot of other guys. We've been having knick-knack injuries, but nothing major, and so that'll be a big thing for our team this year. But I think this year we have a little bit more depth in certain positions where we'll be okay. But if you lose one of your top guys, like if we lose Mason, it's gonna be heartbreaking. But we'll try to figure it out. But he's a big part of what we do, and if he stays healthy, we'll be pretty good.
All right, Mason, what did you want to work on in the off season to get ready for this season of play?
Oh, it's not really one thing. It's just the overall game. As a team, we had a lot of things to work on. We've lost 2 championship games in a row, so we were trying to figure out how individually we could improve to not put ourselves in a losing situation and win a championship game. So individually sort of worked on a couple of different things, but it was sort of absolutely everything across the board.
Coach talked about leadership. You're one of the seniors on this team, obviously. How have you embraced that?
I just try to be myself. I don't believe in you have to be someone that you're not, because then people don't believe anything you're saying. So I just do what comes naturally to me, and then whatever comes naturally to somebody else, I let them sort of deal with that. And lucky for me, I'm on a team with great players, so you're not really dealing with guys that don't know what they're doing a lot, and a lot of the time it's just nudging them in the right direction or pulling guys up a little bit. But so far I've just tried to be myself, and all the other guys that surround me in the leadership positions we have, can't thank them enough. It's been a great experience so far.
You're a second-team all-conference player last year, honorable mention the year before that, but you've been an all-academic player each of your 3 seasons at Eastern. So what means more, the on-the-floor recognition or the off-floor recognition?
I don't know. I think it both means the same. It's pretty worthless if you don't win a championship. So we're trying to still get that. I'm trying to get that feather in my cap, and if I can get that one to my name, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Where's the strength on this year's team, Coach?
I think we have 3 really good players that really complement each other, and then from there, we got some great additional pieces that have stepped up and have turned into really good players. And so, I think it's going to be depth on this team. I think we have 1 through 9, 1 through 10 guys who can step on the court and play, but our inside presence is pretty good. And then, being able to play Kim and Mason together, and then even having Tanner come in, that's 3 really formidable big guys that can do different things on the basketball court, and they're not all the same. So we'll be able to throw the ball inside and see what happens, because he's going to be hard to guard, and then you can pull him away from the basket. And Kim's a great shooter. Mason's worked on his shot, and then Tanner, has soft touch, and he's pretty good down there.
So you've got Mason Peatling, you've got Jacob Davison, you've got Kim Aiken, you've got Tyler Kidd coming back from last year's team that all had big roles on that team.
Yeah.
Who are some guys that have caught your eye so far in practice? Outside of that, whether they're newcomers to the program or whether they're returnees that have raised the level of their game.
You got Tanner Groves. He played great last year. He had some double-doubles when Mason was out, especially in some real huge Big Sky games for us. So he turned out and played really good during those times until Mason got back healthy. You got some of our freshman players that have stepped up really big for us so far. And Ellis Magnuson at the point guard position, he's a very good player. He's done a lot of good things. You got our freshmen. We have Abdul Muhammad, who's another kid from across the way. You got Austin Fadal, who's nursing an injury, but we're hoping he gets back. But he showed some signs this spring. Elijah Jackson, he's done a really good job of pushing guys, offensively, because he's such a good defender. And so we've been able to, have guys step up and work on our other aspects of our game, because it's a different feel from last year. We have guys who could do multiple things. Mike Meadows is another kid who's done a really good job over this preseason.
Are you going to be playing smaller? Last year, a lot of times, especially when you got late in the conference season and in Big Sky play, you had Mason, you had Jesse Hunt, and Kim Aiken all out on the floor together, 3 forwards at the same time. So can you play that way this year? You're going to have to play maybe 3 guards with 2 bigs.
It depends. I think It just depends the game. It depends the time of the season. It depends who's healthy, who's playing well. I think we have a plethora of players that could do a lot of different things. And Mason, you'll see Mason sometimes leading the break and handling the ball, and we'll post up Jacob Davidson. And so, it just depends who we're playing. I think we have a lot of talent that can do different things, and we just can't pigeonhole one guy and say this is what you're going to do. We could play small, have Kim Aiken at the 5, or we could play really big and go 6-6 across the board. And so we're just going to see what that game's going to entail, because you never know game by game what we're going to need.
Mason, you played with Bogdan Bliznik, and the offense ran through him when he was here, and especially his senior year. So having the opportunity maybe on occasion to initiate the offense, what do you think about that challenge?
I think if I'm taking pointers from Bogdan, it'll then lead me in the right direction, because he's a pretty talented scorer, but totally different player, and I think his capability level is a lot higher than mine. I just try to play my game and sort of see what my strengths are. It's been really fun this off-season working on my game so that I can take a little bit of that role, but at the same time, I'm a big guy and we have great guards that do a lot of great things, so I just understand that a lot of the time they understand that I'm a good enough player where they're trying to get me the ball in my spots, so I don't have to do everything all by myself like Bogdan had to a lot of the times. We've got great guards that set me up all the time, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Where do you think the strength of this team is going to be this year?
I think it's interchangeability. Every player on our team can do more than one thing. We don't have straight shooters, we don't have straight drivers. We've got guys that can do a little bit of both. We've got athletic defenders, a little bit more length than we have in the past. And every day in practice we keep working on ourselves, getting our defenses better, our offenses tighter, and as that sort of unfolds and we see how we grow, I don't really know what the end strength will be, but at the moment I can see good things coming.
Coach, you've got, as always, a challenging non-conference schedule. Gonzaga's back on the schedule for the first time in several years. You're playing at the University of Washington. Got road games against St. Louis University, Boston College. It's going to be another big season for the Eagles, but you also have some very good home games in November and December here in Cheney. Yeah,
we do. It's something that the fellas really like. We finally got to play against Gonzaga. I know Mason's been wanting to do that since he's been here. Our fans want us to play those games, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great recruiting tool also. It's going to be challenging, but at the same time, we'll be able to test ourselves. And, last year we thought the same thing, but we had some injuries early. I'm hoping we can go into some of these games and be healthy and see what we can really, accomplish against some of these bigger schools. I think we could challenge these guys and give them good games. I think, some of our players are looking forward to these games. And, when you go on the road and you're recruiting, you talk about our schedule, you talk about who we're playing. We're playing the University of Washington, we're playing, Gonzaga, we're trying to get Washington to stay on the schedule. We play Seattle, so we're trying to play every team in the state of Washington. We're trying to stay in the Northwest, but at the same time, you want to be able to play against other schools, and we're going to get to go out and play a good ACC team in Boston College. Where, they're pretty good, and they played against some of the best teams in the country. And then St. Louis was in the tournament last year, and so it's given us it'll give us a great, idea of where we're going to be at. And this year, we're really going to push ourselves to win some of these games, because I think we can go in to some of these games and win. And we also got Belmont at home, which is a really good basketball club.
Yeah, you don't get the opportunity to host an NCAA team very often. We did South Dakota State a couple of years ago, but you have Belmont on November 26th, also Omaha and North Dakota, rounding out the non-con, and then a couple of non-D1 games rounding out the home schedule. Big Sky Conference play starts just after Christmas. What are your thoughts on the Big Sky?
A lot of changes with coaches, a lot of changes with some programs, but at the same time, it's always going to be tough, because the teams in the Big Sky are really tough. They know how to play you. They have great coaches. They have good players here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of teams that's up in the air. You got Southern Utah, who has a lot of guys back. Weber State, Montana's been good. Everyone's trying to. Idaho's got some players that a lot of people haven't seen. So they've had a little bit of change there, but they're pretty good. And then you also got Idaho State, who's had a change, and that coach coming in, Coach Looney's a very good coach. And so it's going to be a lot of fun to see where we stack up against the Big Sky.
That's Coach Leggins, that's Mason Peatling, and thanks for watching this edition of the Big Sky Conference Basketball Preview with Eastern Washington University.